Hey there, Postal here. So today we're taking out the well-known ME-262. This is one of those planes that kind of reminds me of the Tiger when you go to play World of when you go to play World of Tanks.
Get ready for action. Let's go.
So what do I mean by that? Well, everybody wants to get the Tiger when they first play. They're like, yes, this classic, quintessential, historically awesome tank that everybody knows, kicked ass, took names. I want it. And then you get it and you're like, wait a minute. Can I get a T-29 instead? And this, I kind of equate to that. Not that anybody wants the XF5U instead in World of Warplanes, but the 262 can definitely be a plane that people struggle at. You get it and you see it flying around at 1,000,000 miles an hour and you're like, I want to go 1,000,000 miles an hour. Especially in a tier 8 battle. You are top dog. We have two B-32s doing B-32 things. Well, first and foremost, it's going to take a little while to get the top engines and get the top gun on this plane. So your speed and your hitting power are going to be impacted by that. The other thing of it is it's 4 30mm cannons, and so they are fickle little things. They overheat very, very quickly. I even have reinforced bulk carriers on here, and they still overheat very, very quickly. On top of that, they go everywhere. The accuracy is lacking, I think is what we'll say. And so you've got to be able to do literal hit and runs, right? We don't stick with planes. We're not going to be turning. Well, we might turn on this guy simply because he's moving away from us. But we don't turn and try to dogfight anybody. We use our speed, we use our hitting ability, and we just keep on keeping on. You've really just got to be mindful of that, and when you get a guy like that, you rocket him in the face and say, thank you very much, come again. So let's go ahead and let's keep our altitude. It's really important to keep your speed and keep your altitude in this plane. Probably used too many rockets on that last guy. Are you coming at me, bro? Nobody goes head on versus a 262.
Large enemy force spotted over the airfield.
Yep, missed my rockets anyway. Let's just keep our speed. But it is a very fragile plane as well. You see, it's just a couple flak hits and I lost. Oh no, that's not what I meant to do. No, mistakes were made. I meant to pull up first and foremost there. Luckily, we are still alive. Let's keep our speed going. I want to go for this guy simply because he's moving away from us. Better angle on my shots. Definitely want to be aiming far enough out that your slow cannons, because the bullets from these cannons are incredibly slow. You're basically lobbing shots at the enemy here. I might have turned too quickly. No, I think I'm okay. My mantra with 30mm cannons is, when in doubt, aim further out. Basically meaning giving yourself enough lead. What are we doing here? There's an A7M. Oh, shoot, the flak. The flak. Flak is going to kill us. Dang it. The flak killed us. There's a little bit of hits from the A7M there. Actually took us all the way out. Unfortunately, we're just not going to be able to overcome a B-29C, especially one that's in a flight. Tis a shame, but it is what it is. You'd think a plane like this would do very well. The problem is the B-29C will absolutely shred a 262. I need to be coming at it from just the right angle. And then I will have some success there. Alright, so let's see if we can't get the center here. We need to get some command centers, that's for damn sure. go. Turn around. We get a command center. Does anybody want to capture a command center? How's that sound, guys?
Command centers are under our control.
We got a command center. Yay! Let's get this guy. He's moving away from us. That gives us more time to react to him. There we go. Perfect. All right, we got both command centers. Perfect, perfect, perfect. All right, so it was the best decision to head to the center there instead of one of the command centers. Ah, shoot. Okay, I'm moving fast enough. That guy's not going to be a problem. Let's get over to this garrison if we can. Where's he going? B-29's over here. B-32's over here as well. Dang it, I was hoping to kill him. I'm gonna leave the B-29 alone, to be honest. What we want to do is capture this garrison. Garrisons win games, don't they? Oh, aim further out, Postal. I think he's on fire, though. Nothing I can really do about it either way. And see, they split up, so the, yeah, somebody kill that guy.
You'll soon be cut off from support. I say again, support will not be available.
Need better accuracy. I need better aiming is what it's coming down to. It's not the guns issue. It's the postal issue. Leave my B-32s alone.
Air supremacy achieved.
Excellent. We've got air supremacy. Holy cow. All right, yeah, go and center completely flipped the script. And we're going to win this battle, it seems. Let's go ahead and get some engine cooling on here. I'm going to head over to this this B-29 now. Now I'm going to be an a-hole. Hopefully. Where is this guy? Oh, God, he's on such high health. That dude is on like 1,000,000 health.
Victory is almost ours.
I'm actually going to kill this guy first. Simply because I can.
Command center. Don't let them gain a foothold.
Let's go ahead and see what I can do versus a B-32. See what I can do against this guy to make his life even worse. Still didn't kill him. Of course, half my rockets probably missed, but let's keep boosting along here. Guy's on like no health. Somebody kill him. Oh well. It's a B-29C. They definitely don't go down that easily, do they? Ooh, A7M. Game's gonna be over before I can even shoot him. So we were able to overcome simply from tactics there, not from having the stronger plane. B-29C is incredibly, incredibly strong, especially against a plane like this that can't take a lot of hits. So yeah, let's head on back. Alright, so we were able to get 15 kills there, a decent amount of aerial damage, but we were taking on a lot of bombers, right? And 4 sectors captured, so when you're going against a flight like that, a B-29C and anything, you gotta be out capturing them. There's some planes that can take on a B-29C a little bit easier, and this plane can definitely put the damage out. The issue that you're gonna run into is B-29C is a butt ton of HP, and your 262 does not. The B-29C can take a lot of heavy hits, as we saw there. The 262 cannot. It actually loses hit points just incredibly quickly. Even if it had a lot of hit points, it'd still die too quickly to the B-29C. They'd probably be better off in a flight that was like a. Honestly, if they were in a flight with a B-29C and like a P-80 or a JL-1 or a decent fighter, just heavy enough hitting to take on heavy fighters, to kind of do that, defend sectors as needed. That's my opinion. We were able to kind of, luckily, this doesn't happen every time, but we were luckily able to kind of mitigate their attacking. And it all came down to that decision in the middle of the game there. When we were down, we were almost going to be air supremacy. I saw that both the command centers were on about 25% health. Sometimes you just got to trust your bots. More often than not, your bots will let you down. That being said, we had a couple humans here, a B-32 of our own, and Missouri Marauder, who's a pretty good pilot, in his JL-1A. So the combination of those guys and me allowed us to kind of split up and attack all the sectors at once, and do it pretty darn quickly. So, yeah, so it wasn't just the bots. Obviously, we had some human help there. But the 262, so let's go into some detail on here on why some people absolutely love it right when they get it. Some people don't like it at all for a while. And I fell into that ladder camp. Not a ladder, not like I'm climbing. Anyway, I did not like this plane at all. Even once I fully upgraded it, I really was not fond of its playstyle. But that's the thing. I wasn't fond of its playstyle. I was trying to force a 262 to play like Postal wants it to play. And that's I've gotten a lot better at the game, realizing that you've got to play to the strengths of the plane. Yes, make it your own, build it how you want it to be built, but don't force it to turn. Don't force it to slow down more. So you got to lean in on the strengths of the 262, and it's such a weak airframe that mistakes in the 262 can be instant death sometimes. So what do I mean by that? Look at the airspeed here. So we've got great airspeed. Tier 8 having 83. I've got all my stuff in mile per hour, so my apologies. But the cruise speed's 424 miles an hour. Boost speed 578 miles an hour. That's easily in tier 9 range, and there's some tier 10 planes that it can outspeed. Heavy fighters even. No, that's not true. All the heavy fighters at tier 10 are faster, but fighters. Maneuverability is absolute crap. Altitude performance is really, really good, again, especially for tier 8. And the gun armament is really, really good. So you've got this extreme plane. On one end, you've got really heavy hitting, very fast, high altitude. And on the other end, you've got low survivability, low maneuverability. And then the wild card is those air-to-air rockets, right? So why would you try to be down low unless you need to go down low to kill some ground attackers or attack multi-role fighters to flip a sector? Stay up high. Stay as high as you feel comfortable staying and still being effective, right? So typically right at that upper echelon of optimum altitude, where your altitude is still showing in white. Between that white and yellow is where I like to hang out. You can make decisions, dive down on targets, go higher if you need to go higher. But you'll be moving fast. That's the other key, moving fast at all times. And you're going to be more effective that way. You might not kill everything you run into. That's okay. That's something that you've got to come to terms with. You are going to be literally just hit and run type of plane. A lot of times your hits are going to kill them, but you have to be comfortable with knowing that you just left that guy on 10 HP. Nothing I can do about it. I got to keep on zooming. I'm out of here. And that was a mentality that I really had to overcome. So I'd be like, oh, let's just left that guy on 15 health. Let me make a U-turn and kill him. Well, it doesn't happen like that all the time. First of all, your U-turn is the size of the Titanic. And you will be sunk like the Titanic if you try to out-turn anything. So let him go. Either you're going to get an assist because one of your bots will kill him, air defense aircraft will kill him, or you'll get out there 5,000 feet away and make a U-turn then and come back and kill him. And so you've got to be really understanding of boom and zoom tactics. This plane is the definition of boom and zoom. It can boom, it can zoom, but you've got to lean in on that. I don't even remember what the stock guns were on this plane, but it doesn't matter. These 30mm cannons are what you're going to want. They do incredible damage per second. They're very, very short range. And that's the other thing of this plane is you've got to pay attention. You've got to be leading the target properly. If you're not giving proper lead, you're going to get super frustrated because there's such a short window of attack that that if you're not giving proper lead, all your bullets are going to go nowhere, and you're going to get frustrated because you just wasted a pass on nothing. Tier 9 and Tier 10, the range on the cannons is a little bit further, enough to make a big difference in in gameplay, and the guns actually hit even harder. So you've got that to look forward to at Tier 9 and Tier 10. But super short range, super hard hitting. This plane does have air-to-air rockets, so I highly encourage head-on attacks versus basically anything. Other heavy fighters, great time to go head-on. Your cannons will melt them down, but if they don't, you've got that salvo of rockets you can toss out as well. Bombers and ground attack aircraft, be mindful of their hit points. Your full rocket salvo might not actually kill something like a B-29C, but at full health. But if you've knocked them down to half or less, the rockets will definitely help in that situation if you're actually hitting your target. The other thing you may have noticed when I was zooming around there, you've actually got a rocket on here. Boop. So whenever you've seen a ME-262 flying through the air and you see that trail of smoke, that's the rocket at the back here giving you that extra boost. The jet engines obviously do some heavy lifting when it comes to your overall speed, but that rocket engine on the back that you're able to get is what gets you to the next level. It's a Tier 9 engine. I didn't even realize that. As far as my setup is concerned, I've just gone all in on speed. There's no point in any kind of maneuverability on this plane. You start off with such poor maneuverability. Adding incremental percentages to bad maneuverability is still going to be bad maneuverability. Adding incremental improvements to great airspeed is going to lead it to be exceptionally great airspeed, and that's what we've done here. I'm not even fully maxed on my equipment. It's not ultimate equipment or anything like that. But the overall impact of having polished skin, uprated engine, and the turbine gas has just puts you to the next level, right? I've gone ahead and put reinforced bolt carrier on here. I feel that's the most impactful equipment that I've used on this plane. I've tried gas operated action. Gas operated action is certainly not a bad choice. You get more bullets out. But I feel more comfortable being able to hold down the trigger for a little while longer, and bolt carriers let me do that. Long range gun barrels I don't recommend on this plane because the range is so short. The percentage increase isn't going to be all that great. That being said, if you feel comfortable with getting an extra couple hundred feet out of the range, then continue to do that. I just find it more effective to be putting out more volume, whether that's more volume in the short time frame, like gas operated action would do, or more volume because you get more time frame, which is what the bolt carriers would do. Mine are also experimental, so that helps even more. And last but not least, I've put the gyroscopic sight on here simply because these cannons are crap if they don't hit, and I want to get the accuracy boosted as much as possible, and so I've put gyroscopic sight on here. The argument could be made for the navigational radio equipment. I wouldn't lean towards that, although I've been experimenting with that equipment item on a lot of my different planes. The radio equipment will allow your detectability to be less and will allow you to see the enemy sooner. So basically what that means is you'll pop up at the last minute. You'll be able to see them ahead of time, and they won't see you until the last minute, which could certainly help with your angle of attack and things of that nature. It might be something I experiment on this plane in the future, but right now, gyroscopic sight is really what I'm leaning towards. As far as my consumables are concerned, I'm going to tell you the same thing I always tell you when it comes to the engine. It's probably best, instead of doing improved mixer control, for most pilots to do the engine restart. Your engine gets knocked out in this plane, you're toast, typically. The plane that survives on its altitude and speed gets its engine knocked out, you've lost both of those potentially, right? I've leaned all in on the speed, though. I've got improved mixer control, which gives you 5% thrust and 2% speed buff. I'm willing to deal with the repercussions of my choice there. These 4 items I highly recommend across the board. Well, 2 of them I highly recommend, and these 2, it's up to you. First aid package I typically use when on a plane like this. It doesn't catch on fire all that often, and again, I want to get my pilot back in so I can keep my accuracy as quickly as possible. Emergency control system. I didn't find any value in the pneumatic control assist, which helps you turn tighter for 10 seconds. I kept it on here for a while. I never really found any value situations on it. And so the emergency control system is what I've put on here. What this does is it puts your wing and tail back in if they got knocked out. It's not overly helpful for when your wing gets knocked out. It is very helpful for when your tail gets knocked out. This thing just turns into an arrow, a dart, without its tail, and it can be dangerous when you're around mountains and things of that nature. So getting your tail specifically back in, but your wing as well, is incredibly helpful. Engine cooling, it's a must in my opinion on a plane like this. Gives you 10 seconds extra boost from time to time, or just refills your boost amount of seconds. Incredibly helpful. I got universal ammo on here simply because I've got the credits to do it. It's only 10,000. You typically, great thing about World of Warplanes is you very rarely lose credits in this game, and so 10,000 to help my ammo is certainly not a bad thing. My pilot is only a 6-point pilot, so my pilot on this plane is now my HG3 pilot at tier 10, so I've had to restart this pilot from the get-go. I don't know why I don't have my last point in here. Let's master this skill. I've gone full in on the accuracy here, Marksman 1 and Marksman 2. Marksman 2 is really what helps this plane out. That giving the accuracy when firing at maneuvering targets buff by 10% is so helpful on a plane like this, where you're just kind of shotgun spraying at the screen and hoping something lands. You got a 10% better chance on that hope. Once I've completed that, I'm almost certainly going to be going with Aerodynamics Expert. That's going to help all my speed equipment by 40%. And then from there, we'll see where we go. I could go with Engine Guru at that point. I almost certainly use one of these special skills down here, but I'm not quite sure which. I could also conceivably use Expert Rocketeer. This plane doesn't... The rockets, air-to-air rockets on the 262... aren't really the focus of the plane. They're very nice to have, and I'm not saying I don't want them, and I won't mount them. But to focus 2 pilot points on it, we'll see. We'll see. If I do, it'll be like the last 2 points on the pilot. Having more effective airspeed and more effective cannons is going to be you get longer term use out of those skill points than you would at a Rocketeer. Not a lot of people go head-on versus a 262. Even the bots aren't idiots. And B, even if you are using your rockets a lot, you still have to wait a minute for them to reload and then get them again. In the meantime, you're still using your speed and your cannons. So focusing on speed and cannons in my head seems to be the better way to go. Expert Rocketeer might be an end-game kind of buff that I put on this pilot. Anyway, I'd love to hear your perspective on the 262. A 262 is a plane that we talk about a lot on my live streams, and in comments and in Discord, a lot of people are asking questions about it, and people tend to fall into those two camps. I'd love to see, what was your perspective of the 262 when you first got it, or have you gotten it yet? Feel free to comment down below or hop in my Discord. The link is down below as well. And otherwise, I hope you have a great day. Bye.